we're looking at ways in which we can kind of bring the community more as one through the parks, looking at transit aspects. Metrolink is very easily walkable, and so walking is a key factor. Riding bicycles is another key factor. And we began to see a number of different forces come together. TrailNet, the Loop Trolley project is going to actually come to fruition, we think. It's got the $25 million grant, and it looks like it's going to construction next year. So that adds a new dynamic to our neighborhood. So walking, livability, housing is another aspect that really we needed to look at in great depth. Our association, Neighborhood Association, has been involved in trying to revitalize the neighborhood for ever since we were created. And we did, in fact, in the early 90s, acquired almost half, if not 2/3 of the neighborhood. And all the vacant buildings we turned into affordable housing projects, which over a 12-15-month period we poured almost $20 million into the neighborhood. That's leveraged an additional $40 million in development in condominiums and other aspects of the neighborhood. And we've involved Washington University in acquiring a number of buildings and made a substantial commitment. So the neighborhood itself, I think, has a lot of housing opportunities and a great future, but we really need to work on that. We need to find ways to develop and promote sustainable living and affordable living, particularly now in economic times are tough. There have been a lot of development proposals. In the good times, recently in the late 90s, early 2000s, condominiums came in the neighborhood and did very, very well. But we're now in a trough. This happens a lot in our neighborhood. In my 30-40 years involvement, I've seen 5 or 6 different cycles where the values go up and the values go down, and now is an opportunity to take advantage of the economic situation, to look at the whole community, to look at how we can plan for it, to be sustainable, environmentally supportive, and livable. And the parks recreation opportunities and the park development really spurred us into this new direction. We've been able to secure additional funding from the Department of Housing and Urban Development and the Department of Transportation for additional planning to go to the next phase, not only in the parks but in terms of the whole community. And the thought being is that in fact we obtained these grants in a quite competitive environment. I think one of only 10 or 12 of some 300 applications were submitted, and ours was one of the few that was approved. And I think because it shows that commitment of the neighborhoods, and because we at association and the university and the city were willing to contribute, and the other supporting organizations will really contribute in kind as well as financial commitments to this process, that we're hopeful that once that process is completed, the planning for the entire community, we in fact will be able to find funding to implement these programs. So we're not doing this in an academic environment just for create another plan, another study. We really think that we can take these ideas and these new concepts, which in many cases are old concepts, such as sustainability and travel and communication, to use of Metrolink. We used to have streetcars. That's how the Del Mar Loop got its name, was because the streetcars turned around at the Del Mar area. And so we were a walking community, in many extents a bicycle community, and a sustainable community. We've kind of strayed from that as the community has changed, or the whole urban environment has changed, and I think we're kind of reinventing the wheel, if you would, trying to give it a more modern look. And so we're quite excited about opportunities that this whole thing affords us.